17 investment.
Have you ever used it?
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, that's okay. Until the 11th. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the rescheduled meeting of the Finance Committee. This is March 4th, 2026. Since this is a hybrid meeting, we will be recording this session for the purpose of preparing meeting minutes, and we do require roll call votes of all of our actions here, including starting with our declaration of a quorum. Nate?
Here.
George?
Here.
Raphael?
Here.
John?
Here.
I am here as well, so we do have a quorum, 5-0, with 2 absent. And hopefully will be able to join us. There is nobody from the public online here, so we'll skip that. I'm also going to, we do have, as you noted in the packet, 4 transfers, but in the interest of being considerate to our honored guest here, I'd like to move directly into the Cape Cod Tech review.
Sure.
All right, let me share the. I know, well, I learned from the best.
Well, that's the line
Oh, wait a minute, okay.
I'm just pointing it out as you.
So I'll start right,
No,
No, you look.
This is-
you can look for that. Look
Oh,
for-
okay.
Which is,
so you did,
it's
oh, you put it in, Richard?
no, it's in the packet, sort of toward the bottom.
No, I know, but it's not part of the presentation.
Yeah,
There
there
it
you
is.
go.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right.
So I think that's last year's graduation. Right there.
Okay, so what do we need to do to sharing the screen? Can you guys see that?
Yes, I can.
Yes, but
Okay.
it doesn't look like you're in presentation mode. I can still see the,
I think if you hit the X, Jennifer, see the all tools up top above the video, hit that X.
This?
yeah, that'll broaden. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
You're all set.
All right. So, yeah, that's our stadium. That was part of the project 6 years ago. So those are kids throwing their hats in the air at the end of graduation last year. So we've had an outdoor graduation every year except one since the new building. So it's a great venue. And once again, thanks to the taxpayers for helping to fund the new school and all that. And Nate, who sat on our building committee for umpteen years, and many others. I think we had a 25-member committee for that endeavor. So thank you again. But I'm here to present the FY27 operating budget. We can just move to the next slide. We start this work in April with our finance subcommittee. Sorry, our business manager, Aaron Orcutt, starts it with our staff and department heads and gets initial requests into an initial budget that we bring to the finance subcommittee in the fall. Norm Michaud represents, Dr. Norm Michaud from Yarmouth represents the town of Yarmouth on that subcommittee, as well as Mr. Tullio and Ms. Grady. And the sum of our work, which I think ended up being 5 versions of the budget, which will be voted at our next school committee meeting, which is where we are today. So if you could just advance the slide. Well, it depends how you look at this. As a resident of Yarmouth, I'm thrilled that there's more students coming from Yarmouth in 1 year. I do understand that that's a huge number to absorb on the town level. So I apologize in one way, and I'm ecstatic in another way. So with 31 students now from Yarmouth, 140, I believe, we'll see in another slide, is a real low watermark for Yarmouth as far as the amount of students. So heading back to the numbers that are more typical, although you don't like to do it in 1 year. But overall, 22 students to the good this year. So we're excited about that. This is just a percentage breakdown. Yarmouth being the second largest town feeding our school, second to Barnstable. So a very large portion of our school, and we had sizable increase in the percentage of Yarmouth because of the 30 student change. I think bucking the trends that we see across the Cape, our enrollment has gone up since 2019. That 570 and 616 and I believe 626 were in the old building. And we were starting to come out of it in the old building, but now we're up to 703 students. So the building was built for 650 students. We currently have 471 applications for 190 spots in next year's freshman class. That's a high water mark. And we're having our first ever lottery on March 17th. So the luck of the Irish, hopefully for those to get in. And there's a little bit more I need to talk about that. I'll probably wait till the end. But some other things have happened with the lottery that will change a few things. But that's the growth over the last several years. If you could just go to the next, thank you. This is a look over many years. I think this goes back to 21-ish or further. But you see, I guess the low water mark was 137 for Yarmouth. I'm on the bottom of the screen now, and been holding in the 140s for several years. 159 there in the second year in the slide coming from the left. But we're now, you see, a couple percentage points more than was several years ago. So the budget I'm presenting is 4.5%. We're working our way backwards to try to get back to the good old days of 2s and 3s. As you see from 19, I hope you feel as though we've been good stewards of the taxpayers' money over the years. It's been very difficult to get down into those ranges, especially in the last 3 years. But we have reversed from last year. The news on health insurance was very helpful at the last minute, very much so. But that's a ticking time bomb still, in my opinion. This is an $833,000 increase over FY26. So as I was saying before the meeting to Richard, the local revenue, I'm talking about how does this get funded? Our local revenue is only $120,000 this year. I'm on the bottom right-hand side of the screen for a minute. And that's because we are rebuilding our E&D account. We used E&D as a revenue source pretty strong over several years. And we are building it back as we speak. We should have it certified in the next couple of weeks. I'm expecting it to fall into the $600,000 to $700,000 range. We are able to have 1.2 million in our E&D, so we do have some building back to do. So assessments are still the main driver of revenue for our budget. That's from the 12 towns. This year, as you'll see at the end, Yarmouth has a sizable increase because of the student increase of that 14,912,000. And then you have state aid. State aid has increased. The Student Opportunity Act several years ago, it was a 7-year phase-in. I think it was years 2 and 3. We got I think we got $400,000 and we got $900,000, which brought us to those numbers you see now, which are significantly less than almost anybody else in the state. And because Chapter 70 doesn't seem to make it over the bridge. Maybe it'll make it over the new bridge, but it's not making it over the old one. And that's also inclusive of Chapter 71, which is for transportation reimbursement. So neither one of the local revenue is declining right now for the reasons I said. State aid's pretty stagnant. Right now, it's $75. We're getting minimum aid for next year of $75 a student. Of course, that
pays for everything.
That pays for everything.
A lunch.
And you can see if you go down the right-hand column, so you see we were very aggressive with E&D. E&D was this is the far right-hand column as a revenue source for several years. In one of those years, that was a give back of interest from money that we had on hand from the building project. I think that was 25 or 24, but we had to scale back in the last couple of years, hoping to utilize some E&D in the future to defray assessments, but we really don't dent it when you're talking about the total budget versus the local revenue. and with state aid not going up at any appreciable rate. So this year, for the $19,300,000 budget, you see the numbers. Those are the same numbers I just showed you on the last slide. You can skip right through that. That is just a graphic representation of what we just looked at. So now we're talking about costs, centers, salaries. This is percentage of the budget. So salaries as a percentage of the budget went down a little bit. That's not saying salaries went down 1.2%, but just as an overall percentage of the budget. And you see why. It's really materials and services and benefits that are increasing as an overall percentage of the budget. Everything else is pretty close. One notable thing is transportation is very flat and will be flat in the next 4 cycles, including this cycle. Actually decreased it a bit because we saved some money on some special ed transportation money. We have a transportation reimbursement fund as well, and I believe part of that decrease is we're using money from last year that was put into that revolving fund, which is allowable to defray the cost of transportation in the next year. So that's what's going on there. But we are in a fixed contract for the next 5 years. This would be 27 would be the second of those 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. So transportation shouldn't have a big impact on the budget as far as increasing. We also are contracting with Cape Destinations. You may have seen headlines a little while ago. They have electric buses. So right now we're trying, and Raphael, this is very important to you. We're putting a solar canopy over our bus depot. And at some point we'll need an interconnection agreement. Wink, wink.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So if I can get your phone number later. So that's slowing down the use of those buses because the charging stations are right there. They also got a grant. They got the grant for the buses, 10 buses, but they also have diesel backups in this first and parts of the second year. So the charging stations are not fully accessible right now. So that's why they're not. They're going to start having go out on a couple of routes here and there to demo them. But we hope those will be pretty full on towards the end of the year and into next year.
So not to get into the weeds, do you have a work order for that canopy install? Where are you with that? Do you know?
So all they've done so far is the foundations for the steel.
Okay.
So I don't, but we're working with Select Energy, Brian Miner, if you're familiar with Brian. And that we're slated to be done at the end of this fiscal year, so in June. And that will really help for future budgets. We have a power purchase agreement with that where we're paying around 11 cents a kilowatt hour for once that's up and running, and should be giving us about 40% of our power going forward. So I see some savings in the utility lines going forward into next year.
At 11 cents, yes, you will.
Yeah. When I say next year, I mean the next budget cycle.
Right.
Insurance is up. That's general insurance. That's not health insurance, which is in benefits. But general insurance, we just got reintroduced. We got introduced to a new product. It's called deduction buy down insurance because our deduction was so high. The deductible, I think it was like $4 million for wind damage, that we had to cover ourselves with deduction buy down insurance on top of that. This is a brand new thing for us. So, but that's up a tiny bit in this budget. So the drivers are benefits, general insurance, materials and services are the drivers. And there's another slide that'll show that as well. You can go to the next one. I'll just say at the bottom, building improvement and equipment. That's the last four lines on the line item budget that you have. It's building improvement, new equipment, replacement equipment, and technology equipment. That's what those numbers add up to. So keeping the building running properly, which I'll see we'll have to start increasing that number as time goes by. Being at a 6-year-old building right now, where not a lot of things are breaking or anything of that nature or coming to the end of their useful life, but that's going to come up quick. So we want to start to accelerate that. So we have increased some numbers in that area. And we've also not accessed all of that those accounts in the last couple of years to get through the fiscal year, quite frankly. It's been, the last 2 years have been very close for us as a district, which never was a major worry prior. That's worth talking about. So we really need to reinvest in equipment for our programming to keep current with industry. And then you're going out further out with teachers being 34% of the overall budget, their salaries being the second most important people in our building, students being the first. I want to say that one thing that's really, and you know this from DY, there's $1.7 million of this budget devoted to retirees. So you have that retirement percentage down there, 3.1, that's Barnstable County. And that, I believe, is around $600,000 in this budget. And then you have retirees' health insurance, which is probably around $800,000 in this budget. And we also have a number for OPEB, other post-employment benefits, which is about $225,000. So that's a large percentage of the budget devoted to people who are not in our building anymore. But we owe it to them. And we're going to obviously honor that. Because I'll be one soon.
Not too soon.
At some point. But it's worth noting, especially if you're comparing to comprehensive schools that are municipal budgets. Sometimes those aren't included. It's really the same information with the numbers and percentages next to each other. And they kind of align with the line item budget, going from building leadership down to capital requirements that we just discussed. And then this shows the cost drivers more, materials and services and utilities. Right?
The
utilities is correct. And then insurance as well. Those are three of the big cost drivers. Salaries are contract with the teachers and most of our unions. We have 4 unions for custodial maintenance, secretarial, food service, and the teachers are anywhere from 4 to 3.25%. That 2.4 is in recognition of retirements. We did cut one position in this budget. It was a science position that we knew that was going to occur. It was a retired teacher that was working for us for a couple of years, and we just did not need that position anymore. And then capital, we increased to get an overall increase of 4.5% for fiscal year 27. This is just a look, of salary and benefits. You all know this. They're most of the budget. They did decline, I believe, if I can't see that other one, but slight decline. Materials and services because of materials and services. Actually, it didn't decline. It went up 0.3. So that's the big thing. Salary, people, and the benefits for those people are the biggest part of this budget. So I would stop there, and then I'd go over the next slides after if there's questions on the operating budget.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm getting into debt and then the assessments, and then a little bit about OPEB.
Yeah, some of the, and I don't know, maybe when we get to the line items, because I think I have some very specific things in the line items. I think, my sense is, again, this is good news from a cost control standpoint relative to some other school districts. Raphael, you have your hand raised. No, he doesn't.
Yes, I do. So first thing, feel free to get my number from Richard after the session's over, and use it as you see fit. As I've talked to Nate over the years, I'm a big fan of this school. When I got out of active duty Navy, my first time in the service, I actually went back to a regional technical school to relearn how to learn. So I'm a big fan of these types of schools. So if I can help in any way, be glad to.
Thank you.
Second thing is, pardon me, I'm fascinated by the negative 1.22% in transportation. Can you, this was a real hot button for me on a previous presentation and discussion. Can you just give me the narrative, the Cliff's notes on your transportation contract, please?
Sure. So I think it was last year, we had a 19% increase, but really that's a 19% increase for 5 years. So you really could amortize that over the 5 years, but you absorbed it in 1 year. So it's going to be fixed for 4 years now, inclusive of this year. And then the reason it declined a bit was because we had put away some of that, some funds. I want to say it was around $73,000-ish into that transportation reimbursement fund. So we'll be accessing that during the year, which is what allowed us to cut it in this particular year. I think the more likely number moving forward is the one you see in the previous year, the $1,069,000.
Okay.
We're able to do that again with transportation, with that revolving fund. And that's usually if there's an overage in the Chapter 71 funding from what we budgeted. And then also you need to have enough revenue to cover the entire budget. But so that's what we did. It was a combination of a fixed contract now for 5 years, and also stowing away a little bit in transportation revolving.
Who's that 5-year fixed with, if you don't mind my asking?
It's Cape Destinations, known as Mercedes Cab Company now, because they purchased Cape Destinations. The original owners were actually graduates of our school.
Excellent.
But
Excellent.
it's a company out of Provincetown. You may see Pilgrim Transit cars going around. They have several entities, and one of them is Cape Destinations, which is our bus company.
And do you augment the primary contract with Cape Destinations with cabs, car services, third-party folks?
No,
Okay.
that's a totally separate business.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably, it might be useful also to go back and put some of this in context. Yarmouth is a fraction, for example, of the Barnstable enrollment. So the fact that we are even, I think they're relatively to Yarmouth, almost twice as big.
No, not anymore.
No. I'm just saying, but no, I'm saying the underlying student population.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. So that implies that we are, the students who are part of or applying for the tech are doing it at a much higher rate at this point. And I don't know if you want to get into it now or later, is really sort of the question is whether that 30 was a one-time hit or is going to be potentially continuing. And this is sort of gets into the lottery question. I don't know if
It does. There's some things tied to that, which I'll touch on before I leave.
Okay.
Okay.
Utilities, again, one of the things that's interesting is this facility is 228,000 square feet, give or mind.
Yeah.
So his cost per square foot for utilities is $250, which is pretty amazing for an energy intensive operation.
Right.
And you do not have any escalation in your expenses. Did you notice that? And you really expect this to happen? You are hoping?
Yeah. So we have a fixed contract with natural gas, I believe, and then we have we're going to be able to defray costs,
Smart.
hopefully starting in July. So we work with a company called Tradition Energy that helps us with forecasting. So right now, I think it's the other way around. I think we have one of them's fixed, one of them we're going with the utility, which is a fixed price as well for now. But that has some variability in it. But then I also didn't have it go up much because I'm hoping, well, not hoping, the PV canopy should be coming online and producing 40% of our electricity moving forward.
So
I didn't get really aggressive this year on that because, first of all, I don't know if it'll start in July. I also don't know if it will perform as expected. So I think next year the real savings, when we get a history, will be even better than you see there.
Right now, the degree days for this year versus last year was incredible. It's like 20% higher degree days.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're still thinking that we're gonna be okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with the utility numbers that we have.
Natural gas is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. And it is natural gas that we have the fixed contract in now that I think about it.
Excellent.
Okay.
Right, we're-
Anything else on the operating budget?
Well, there may be some others.
Okay. So the previous slide just showed the overall debt, both for, not debt, sorry, that is the debt. So that's the principal and interest on the debt for 27. That's apportioned on a enrollment percentage basis. And that's for the entire district. So if you go to the next page, you'll see the debt assessment for the 12 towns, totaling that number, where Yarmouth is at 1,309,000. Obviously, that boomeranged because of the 30 kids. If you go down to the next one, you have the operating assessment at 3.4, totaling the assessments, which is the assessments revenue for the year. And then if you go to the next slide, you just put those two together for the 171 kids from Yarmouth and a total of 4.746886 for the assessments, for the combination of those assessments.
And this is where also in the detail, the minimum required contribution comes into play.
Yep.
Yarmouth has actually one of the lower minimum requirements, minimum contribution requirements. So our cost per student is actually the lowest of any other school.
And there is a little thing in the factor that's remedying that. There's a little kicker in there that you're paying on the minimum contribution to bring it up to a certain level.
Right. And so, so our cost per student is the lowest. Barnstable is the next lowest. Everybody else is the same cost per student because they have maxed out on their formula.
We like to call it a bargain, volume discount.
Yeah, we got a volume discount.
Not so much of a discount this year, I shouldn't say.
No, it's just, but I'm saying it's, there's some favorable things in the big scheme
Yeah.
that help us.
Okay, very good. And then if you go to the next slide, this is OPEB, other post-employment benefits, and it may have got cut off on the end. I apologize for that. This is the unfunded liability of benefits for retirees, primarily health insurance. And the most recent assessment has us at $20 million, almost $21 million. We have an OPEB trust with the Plymouth County, and we have $3.5 million in it. Our finance subcommittee came up with a plan with myself and my business manager, Aaron Orcutt, to try to fully fund in 28 years. And I want to say we're 6 to 7 years into this schedule. So the net liability is now 17. We are putting 225,000 toward that. So really that number will just be taken out of the budget and sent to the Plymouth OPEB trust to grow that trust. And I want to say our net position right now is about 14 to 17% of covering the liability. I wish it hadn't been cut off. I can't remember if it's 14 or 17. Our plan calls for us to be putting 300 against this. 2 or 3 years ago, we had to cut it back. You may notice, I think it was 90 or 75 in the last couple of years. We felt we could do that in tough times because we were ahead of the schedule we made. And that was mostly because of the performance of the fund. We were getting great returns over several years. Our advisor says don't expect the returns in future years, as you see the volatility recently. So we are inching our way back to 300 with 225 this year. So we won't go past 300. The other part of this plan is taking the Barnstable County assessment when they fully fund their retirement system and just moving it over to OPEB to accelerate this push to fully fund the liability of retiree health insurance. So that is the end of my formal remarks. Oh, I could go in the lottery a tiny thing.
If you wouldn't
Yeah.
mind, so the question that Dr. Sanborn and I were talking about earlier is whether this jump in 30 is a one-time jump, which was going to go back down. So basically the 30 is fixed for the next 4 years. You know, they're in the system, they're going to stay through the system. So basically part of the rationale for having the increase in the tax levy is because this is not going to go away for the next 4 years. Those 30 kids are going to be with us for the next 4 years, or with them for the next 4
So
years.
one thing I can tell you with certainty is that you're going to have 37 kids next year. We're going to allow 37 kids into the school from
An
young.
additional 37.
Correct. So the freshman class, because our school committee voted apportionment. So as a part of our lottery, which you know that was state mandated,
Yep.
okay, which we fought. We really think there's merit in merit, but that's gone. So we're having a lottery. But at the same time, our school committee voted to have apportionment. And we're apportioning based on application percentage. So this year, 19.75% of the applications came from Yarmouth. So that, with some rounding, ends up with, because we're accepting 190 students, we're going to be taking in 37 students from the town of Yarmouth. So the lottery will be drawn for all the kids. It'll be separated by 12 towns, and you'll have those who have been accepted, and then there'll be a wait list for each town. So if you get the number 190, it doesn't mean you're in the school, because if you're in Provincetown, there's only 3 kids going into Provincetown. They could be 400 and still get in, if you follow me. So because it's almost like it's a lottery for each of the 12 towns. Okay, so I don't have with me tonight what we have in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade next year. I can get that for you. But I know next year's freshman class will be 37
From Yarmouth.
from Yarmouth.
How many from Dennis? What's Dennis's?
Dennis is going to be
'Cause this is important.
15,
15%?
No,
15 students.
So what?
How many students will be going out? How many students will be graduating?
That's the number I don't have in front of me,
Okay.
but I can get you that, but
Yeah.
I don't have the 10. 11.
Starting students will graduate, will bring it back down.
Yeah, you got to figure that those 3 years prior to this one
Yeah,
are lower,
yeah,
and because you were lower.
yeah.
So, and I think the 37 times 4 that's not even 160, right? So, and you
Yeah.
got 3, so you might see some savings, or not a big balloon next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's so this tells me actually, that we could possibly go up again, but smaller. So it's not like
Right.
we're gonna see this drifting down.
Right,
Now, if the applications so it's as a percentage of the applications.
correct.
So,
So the bigger the demand from a particular town, the more spots they get in a given year.
okay. So that's why Yarmouth is potentially going to remain high, because what was Barnstable, just for comparison?
Barnstable is 69. So
It's like 54% of the.
they're going to start racing ahead. They had a huge application. They're 30%, 8% of the applications this year.
Which actually makes sense, given, remember,
Yeah.
the thing I just said is that they are double the number of students there. That makes sense.
But as I recall, that is a big number for them.
That is a
It's
huge.
179 applications.
Yep.
So, and this, once again, is all new. So on the 17th, we're having our lottery. It's a part of our student information system. We're going to have a representative from Cape Cod 5 there to verify the proceedings. Basically, just going to press a number, and the 471 students are ranked 1 to 471. Then they're put into the towns by number, and then the ones that are accepted are up to the apportionment for the individual town, like 37 for Yarmouth. So there'll be 93 applications from Yarmouth. There'll be 37 people who are offered acceptance. Then there'll be the difference of will be, the wait list.
So the state mandates the lottery,
The state mandates the lottery.
but the school board mandated how the percentages were broken up by town.
Yes, because there was a discussion about small towns possibly having zero
Yeah.
kids, and they didn't want that. So, and the whole school committee felt that way. There was not a disagreement on that. So, like, for example, Provincetown, Wellfleet, Truro, they're getting 3 kids apiece. 4 kids or 6 kids from Orleans, 6 kids from Eastham. So,
But they have to apply. If they don't apply,
right, if they don't apply,
That's a larger percentage of the lottery than,
yeah.
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
quite a bit larger as a percent
right.
than Barnstable and.
The odds of getting into a
Good.
small town are better than
Yeah.
a large town now with this new system.
It's half of their
Right.
student population.
I have one case, almost every kid's gonna get in. No, one kid won't get in, one student won't get in.
Yeah.
So,
It's been interesting. Yeah.
it is, and that's something that we're gonna watch and see how that works, and the school committee may tweak it. So the mandate was to have a lottery though. Oh, a weighted lottery, I should say that. So
Hmm.
we still,
Somehow.
we still get their attendance, but they're very low standards. It's 27 absences over 270 days. If you have 28 absences, you don't get the weight. If you have 27, you get the full weight. So you get a weight for applying, you get a weight for 27 or less absences over that period. You get discipline. If you didn't have a really, really, really major discipline issue, and I mean really almost, I think every kid's going to get this weight. I mean, we're not talking about suspensions. We're talking about something bad.
Yeah,
So that's 3 weights, and the 4th weight is an interview, not scored like it used to be. It's just that you did the interview, and you could do nothing in that interview. You just showed up for that interview.
but you have to show up.
You do have to show up, and we did have students who didn't show up, and that sometimes that's students in this 471 that may not want to come in the end. So the 471, there's going to be students in there who are going to decline acceptance. There's going to be students who, in the end, weren't really coming, or they got into Sturgis, or they school choice somewhere else. So it's an interesting. It'll be an interesting day on March 17th, and we're live streaming it. If you want to be bored to tears, it's at 9 a.m.
Mr. Gutierrez,
Are the per town enrollments and the per town applications simply a function of the available student density as it's distributed across the towns, or is there something else driving the interest and the excitement to go to your school?
I think the interest in our school is 3 reasons: the cost of college education,
2 or 3.
the new school, which is still a new school,
Mhm.
and still looks new if you've been there, and will. I say, lost my train of thought. The new school, and the renaissance in the trades. I mean, there's
Good.
news all the time. You got Mike Rowe talking about it. You got all these, and when you take college education and then the outcomes of college education that
Right.
aren't very good, and the outcomes of the programs that we're offering and Voc Techs are offering across the state, the outcomes are pretty darn good. I think those are the 3 things. And then it's always been true for a subset of kids that they're boring them to tears from K through 8.
Right.
They want to get out of their chair. They want to go do things and use their hands. And that's who we really, really want. I think it's a combination of those things.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
This is a new phenomenon in the last 4 years. So I think it's a confluence of those things.
We can't fill
Yeah.
technical positions. We cannot fill STEM and skilled trade positions, sir.
No. And because we devalued it for so long.
Right.
Everything was college. And right now, the Department of Ed has got a whole new graduation requirements thing coming out that I've told the commissioner. He visited our school. And I went to a thing today where he was today as well. There's still too much college in there. Like, we're not against college. 30, I think 40% of our kids went to college last year. We're typically around 35. And you want to be able to go to college. You don't
Right.
want to graduate high school and not be able to go to college. Because that may be it could be a technical school, it could be just further training, but you got to be able to have the academic skills to access that training and absorb it and use it. So academics is still very important at our school. And another new phenomenon at our school could be because of our popularity, and we had a merit-based system. We'll see if it holds, but our MCAS performance is on par with is ahead of every comprehensive district with the exception of Sturgis. That's new. That's the last 2 years.
Checkmate.
Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
And it's not me. So it's our staff and it's our kids, and we're just blessed to have a lot of great people at our school.
Yeah, so are we going to move into the details at all if we want to?
Yeah, sure. I'm done with my remarks, but whatever you got for me.
Okay, did anybody have any specific, George, yes.
Yeah, just a question I think I ask every year, and I see it as more of an indicator of the subject you're talking about. What percentage of your graduates take introduction to calculus? What percentage take single variable calculus differential by the time they're graduating?
I would say, I mean, you're counting pre-calculus?
Well, yeah, you can that too will give me an indication. How many are ready to take calculus?
Yeah, because we do offer pre-calculus and we do offer calculus. And that's usually probably a class or two at most. So you're talking 20 to 40 kids in a given year are taking pre-calculus and or calculus, whether they be in 11th or 12th grade. So it's a smaller subset of classes that are in the range of 190 students.
And how is that percentage behaving with time? Is it increasing or decreasing?
Those have been increasing. Like we didn't offer calculus 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe. We also have 4 advanced placement courses that we offer now, 2 in English, 2 in social studies disciplines. So advanced coursework is a bigger part of our, because students and parents were starting to demand it. And as I said, it's still a smaller subset of the overall class, but growing. Now, is the lottery going to change that? I don't know.
We hope not. Any other questions? One of the by the way, for those who love to dig deep into the numbers, the number of special needs students obviously has become a larger component of your.
Actually, that's been down.
Yeah.
We were probably several years ago. And this is something that I'm not proud of, but it's happened as a part of merit. And I don't know if they didn't imply as much or they were on the outside looking in. But we were 32% special needs probably 5 years ago, and we're now 19.8.
Which is the Cape average.
Yes, which we've never been the average.
Right.
So that's an argument that they were using for the lottery, and there's some validity to that.
Well, except if your population broadly is 19%, you should expect 19%.
Right.
The reason I bring that up is I was looking specifically at the number of special needs instructors, which is 7, and the special need aides, the paras, at 6.
Yep.
That is a relatively low number compared to some other areas.
Our paras are running all over the place. They're running all over the place. And keep in mind, we don't have any aides in our technical programs.
Correct.
So, I mean, I take that back. We have an aid in graphics, but it's not a special needs aid. It's an aid to do other things for the community. And we have an aid in electrical that's just very part-time, and that's based on the amount of kids in that program. But that's not a special needs aid either. It's just an aid to help the teachers in those particular areas.
I also noticed that the number of clerical staff that you have is bare bones. It is,
I think we're adequately staffed there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it is very small.
Yeah, we have two in guidance for special ed and guidance. Then we have an assistant principal secretary. We have somebody at the front desk. We have a principal, a secretary. We have my secretary, accounts receivable, accounts payable / secretary. I think that's it.
I know.
Oh, and one other. For the technical study / curriculum.
The other one I wanted to focus in on is your, and again, this is not for you because you're doing a great job. But the number of people that you have in your custodial service, I mean, it says 2.3, something like that? Or am I missing something? I was looking here, sort of maintenance. of
No,
building.
that's not true. It says that's wrong.
Okay.
What page you on?
I was just sort of on page 7. The reason that this is relevant is, again, I'm looking at the cost per square foot of custodial services.
Yeah, custodians too. No, that's okay, so that's maintenance employees.
Okay.
So,
Oh, custodians.
yeah, custodians are in a separate area.
You're right. I got them 6.
Yeah, there you go.
So you have 6 people covering, so your cost per square foot there is $1.10, $1.20. Yeah,
Sure.
again, very low.
There is some union concern on the custodial level, I will say that.
Okay.
For probably the next contract negotiations, but not currently. And I think I would argue against that even so.
Okay. So, you know, again, the thoroughness of your presentation, the fact that you provide all the headcounts by position is just to be commended.
Yeah, and behind those, just so you know, like health insurance, every person's benefits that we don't forecast benefits for somebody who doesn't take benefits.
Right.
If there's a new teacher coming in, we may hold that benefits because they probably are going to take them if there's an unknown, but it's reflective of the people who, and their salaries, their stipends, it's all feeding into these cells that you're referencing.
So so of the people who are eligible, I assume that most people are eligible.
Yeah, anybody who's over halftime is eligible for benefits.
What's your participation rate?
Oh, I don't know the exact percentage, but I think it's very high.
It is high?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know we have 151 retirees accessing benefits, and then we have upwards of 80 out of 125 people accessing benefits,
Okay.
health insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's an important thing.
Yeah.
John,
So just to confirm, the 4.51% increase, that includes the 8% for healthcare?
Yes,
That's an actual.
that is an actual. Yep. And one thing on the outside, on the right-hand side, going down you'll see grant funds. Those grants are special ed needs, special education, technical, it's called Perkins grant funding, and which I don't know if there's any Perkins anymore, and Title I, which is very small. So I think it accounts for about $200,000. That's not in the 4.5, but we're showing it off to the right. If you see a number there, it's being taken away from the number
right.
that is in the 4.5.
Unless there are other questions,
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
probably we'll follow up with you.
Good to see you, Nate.
See you.
Follow up with you a little bit on some of those is related to the lottery.
The 10th, 11th, and 12th graders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to be, I don't think you're going to see, the big spike would happen if you had a huge spike in applications. Okay.
Yeah, so I think, but it's, my sense is it's probably going to be higher relatively higher than what it's been. So so we've been averaging around 140-ish.
Yeah,
So you're saying this is gonna be closer to 160-ish.
right. So for next year's budget, that'll be, if that materializes, it could be good for you.
Okay.
It would go down, right? 171 down to 160.
Yeah,
If that
if
actually
that
happens.
actually happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
all right, but I'll get those numbers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bob.
Do we want to do transfers next?
Sure. All right, so I'm gonna. Okay.
Just so that we don't forget to do them. We'll get to the end of the meeting, we'll do them. I don't know about you folks, but this is,
Previous administration at DY was not selling to Votech.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay, for those who, it said none were pending, but yes, there are some pending. So I'm going to ask Jennifer to go through, there's 4 of these,
I think there's only 3.
three today?
Okay, the first one, it's in your packet. I don't know if you all had a chance to take a look at it. We had some HVAC issues over at the recreation department. So we needed to fix those. So we really cleaned up some accounts. Maria did a great job going through additional funds that, we've already spent this money acquiring the assets. So these are leftover funds. So we're asking, there's a number of line items, if you took a look at your packet, that we're transferring from and to, in order to really do these HVAC repairs over at the rec.
So the total is 20,000 and change.
Yeah, $20,904.
Right. So the advantage of doing these, by the way, is it closes out, right?
Yeah, we're closing out a lot.
So, which is a great way of doing it.
I just was curious just because of the amount.
No, absolutely.
Is it safe to say that some of these could be years and years old as well?
Yeah, they're probably, some of them are like 3 and 4, I
Yeah.
would say 3 and 4 years old,
Okay.
yes. And a lot of times what happens, I mean, I can't really speak to the specific project, but I mean, just in my experience, say somebody buys a vehicle, right, but needs to be equipped. And so they'll buy it and then they get the equipment and then, they're like, oh, we have like, an extra $600. That's money. If something happens in the vehicle, I'm going to use this. And, so they don't tend to close them out right away. And plus, with Yarmouth having the authority through a bylaw to transfer money, I think they've been
Yeah.
doing this as well.
There's one for 35 cents, another for 23.
Yeah. Gotta love.
That might be
Maria.
close.
Maria,
The
Maria did a-
paperwork.
We're talking overrides, right?
Maria did a great job going through
No, but I
this.
mean, carrying that on the paperwork is more than,
Yeah. Well,
And
so,
Yeah, and it just zeroes out the balance,
Yeah.
so we don't have them,
okay, so I got
I got a question, and this probably goes to my ignorance about the accounting procedure here, but how is this different than free cash?
Okay, so let me explain that. So what we usually do at the end of the fiscal year is we review, the budget, but we also review some capital accounts that, the project has been completed and we close that out and actually gets closed out to free cash. These were never closed out. And before we close anything
Oh,
out,
all
we
right, so
usually,
they were never in free cash.
right, so
Oh,
yeah,
all
so
right.
we usually would have a conversation with the department head, and say, okay, you have this. And so we've talked to all the department heads and yes, so this didn't go to free cash.
Okay, I'm good.
So we're
I'm
just moving it to another project.
good. Okay.
okay.
Move to approve.
Mr. Anderson, thank you for that.
second,
Nate, thank you for that. Unless there's other discussion, all in favor, Nate,
aye.
George,
All right,
Raphael,
I,
John,
Aye.
I am an aye as well. Carries 5-0. Next up,
So the Yarmouth Park Division staff, we need to replace the exhaust fan over at the concession at Smuggler's Beach. And again, these things are expensive, and so we've had some funds that have been, haven't been completely expended, but the project has been completed, so we're transferring these funds in order to replace the exhaust fan at Smuggler's Beach. So you have earmark mower. They actually had a significant balance on the beach surf rake. I think there was a component of the rake that they didn't have to purchase when they originally went to town meeting. That's why there's a balance there. And so we just want to transfer that so we can
Close
repair
it.
the.
Move to approve.
Mr. Anderson, second,
Okay.
Nate. All in favor? Nate?
Aye.
George?
All right,
Raphael?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, carries 5-0. Next.
Also the golf, they've run short. They're redoing the patio over at Bayberry Hills, and they needed some additional funding. And Scott had money left over and these were much larger projects. So he had funding left over in the Bass River Clubhouse improvement and the driving range improvements, and requesting to move that to the Bayberry Hills patio area so they can finish up that project.
And again, this is part of the reason for doing this now is so that this can be completed before the season starts.
Move.
Sure. Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Any other conversations or questions? Otherwise, Nate,
Aye.
George,
all right.
Raphael,
Aye.
John?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Carries 5-0. Okay. The other thing we were supposed to do is, and then we'll go through the rest of the warrant articles. A couple weeks ago, we went through the fire and police budgets. And so the one thing that we would do today is basically do a provisional recommendation to approve those two budgets as printed in the binder. And we can do that as a group if you would prefer.
No problem.
Do I hear a motion to recommend, provisionally recommend the fire and police department budgets as printed?
Move.
I'll move it.
Mr. Nate moved it. Okay, Nate,
second.
thanks. And Raphael. All in favor, Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right, all right.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
I as well, carries 5-0. Okay, we are up to no minutes this week for obvious reasons. Maybe a blizzard got in the way. So we're ready to go through a provisional review, a review of the warrant article as it exists right now. These are, I'm hoping today, some of these we will just sort of go through because they are placeholders for right now. So like snow and ice, that's a placeholder for right now. But just to give you an overview of it, there will be many of these budgets which we can vote on tonight, or warrant articles we can vote on tonight, at least provisionally. So moving to article number 1.
You want me to just walk you through the?
Yep.
Would that make it easier?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll walk you all through the warrant. I'll, mention where you can take a vote if you so choose, and answer any questions you may have. Article 1 is going to be the snow and ice deficit. Now, I put a number in there before we had the blizzard.
Can we bet whether it's gonna start with a 2?
I know. I don't think it will be over that. So that's good news. But of course, we're gathering all the costs. We will come back to that. Okay. Number 2 is the municipal budget. One thing I did want to mention is next Tuesday, we have our public hearing in front of the select board. And I know part of the municipal budget where I had to update numbers were a lot of the debt. We're looking at a $35 million bond issue. And so we haven't voted every single department. I've updated all the numbers. The numbers in the warrant are correct, but I haven't updated the budget book that you all have in front of you with the departments. The majority of the debt is water. You have golf. You have some wastewater in there. You have Riverview Park from CPC. Ambulance is going to be a debt payment. So I will update the budget. But I wanted to mention when we open the public hearing, even though you haven't taken a vote on every single budget, and it's being presented on behalf of the Finance Committee. Is the Finance Committee comfortable saying something to the effect of, we went through and met with every single department head and went through the budget and got our questions answered, and we're comfortable with this budget, even though we haven't actually voted on every department because of, I had to put all the debt schedules together.
Do just a quick consensus, is that acceptable? Because that's coming up. I'll be there Tuesday, the 10th. John?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Nate?
Yeah,
Exclusive of the schools.
Yeah,
This is
right.
just Article
How about
2.
the schools and the library? How about the library?
That's not even, that's all separate.
This is
So
just,
But it's in a warrant.
No, just the operating budget for the
Oh,
operation, so for the existing library.
okay, all right.
this is for Article 2.
Okay, I'm talking about Article 8.
Yeah.
Article 2 in the enterprise fund budgets.
Yeah. George?
I'm good.
Raphael?
I'm good with that approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, moving
All right,
right.
so I'm gonna move through Article 2. Then we have golf. I've updated these numbers, but if you want to wait till the budget book, we can
Well,
do that.
let's,
Do you wanna-
okay, so obviously golf doesn't have a huge differential from on the debt side. We can wait on this, or if you're comfortable that we're not going to be too far off, we can do a provisional vote on this one.
Like I said, the debt numbers in the warrant are correct. The only thing I didn't update is your actual budget book. And let me just make this statement. We're looking at a $35 million bond issue. So I've been working with our financial advisors on how to structure that, looking at the market and the way it is right now. One of the big decisions or recommendations I'm making is really in the water budget. So all the water debt, which is significant, requesting paying it over 20 years and not 30 years, because we'll get a lower interest rate the way the market is right now. So the debt schedules are in here. And so I had to adjust them because of the bond issue. I needed to get estimated principal and interest payments. So that's all I did. And the outstanding debt for the golf was really that $3 million that was voted a couple years ago.
So, yeah, relatively modest piece of the total.
Right, exactly. It's
So,
Nothing's
sense of
changed.
the committee, do you want to provisionally vote on golf, the operating budget? Yes?
Can I ask just one question? In the structure of this debt, are we going to have the ability to call it and, well, I'm really talking about a refinance, not a calling it to pay it off early. But let's say we get in a position where we need to either smooth out or lower the debt service payment in each year. Do we have the ability to
Yeah,
Prepay.
I can answer.
refund? I think refund's the term, isn't it? And
It is, it's a
Yes,
refunding, and
okay.
I can answer that, George. So basically with municipal debt, tax exempt bonds, you can refund them, but you can't refund them until 10 years in. Okay. So, right, this is 20 years, but say 8 years in, what we do is we're looking at the market and said, you know what, we can have a significant savings like that. And I work with the financial advisors about this. We can actually put it into I can't remember the name of the fund, but we can actually refund it in 8 years to pay it off in 10 years. So we look at it like 2 years before we can actually do it.
Okay.
But it has to be structured so that you're saving. You can't pay more on one issue and less on the other, but on municipal bonds, it's usually 10 years in, but it's something we're always looking at.
Okay. Just want to make sure we had flexibility.
Okay.
So do I hear a motion or not?
I'll move it.
Mr. Perkins? This is for golf specifically, the enterprise budget as printed in the warrant now.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Unless there's other discussion, Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
I'm aye as well, 5-0. Water,
Water division budget, significant increase, but this is what we're looking at. We're taking, the, indirect costs from your water surplus, because we're not bringing in the 7.4 million, but we are gonna probably go in for another water rate increase next year, which has been planned because this is the water debt for the SOAR project.
this one to me is a little bit more complex and maybe, again, we have 25 of these things to go through, so I want to get as many off the plate as possible, but this is a big one, so I would understand if the committee would prefer not to do this, but I am also ready to accept a motion. Hearing none, we'll sort of move on to septage. Should be pretty much the same because they don't have any debt,
No, they do.
a little bit.
They did the septic tanks,
Oh, that's right, the
the
septic.
4.4 million, and you'll be seeing another article in here for another additional 2 to do the second tank.
Yeah. This one, again, as an enterprise, it really has, huge amounts of retained earnings, so it's not going to be, it's not anything related to the general levy. Do I hear a motion to,
So all of this is being financed on as revenue bonds, right?
No, it's general obligation debt, but it
Yeah.
is being paid from the
from
the
the,
septic enterprise. I think it's categorized as a general obligation bond, not a revenue bond.
But I mean, are we pledging?
Oh, we're
the
paying back
full
with the
faith
revenue from the septic, yes.
Are we pledging the full faith and credit of the town, or are we pledging the revenue source?
We're pledging the full faith and credit of the town, which is the
Okay,
way
all
we
right, all right.
structure most of our general obligation bonds.
do I hear a motion? Okay, we'll consider this one at a future time then. Wastewater. This doesn't have.
You know what? This isn't,
You want to skip that one?
yeah, you know what? Let me, just bear with me for a second. Where's the sharing? So let me stop share. Let me bring up I was using the, stop sharing. Okay, so. What finance? There we go. Let me bring this up. What page is wastewater on?
Wastewater's on page number 13.
There we go.
So again, this is where the big change for the wastewater enterprise budget was adding funds for
The debt.
right, and also adding two more people who or a sufficient funds for a contracted 2 additional people to run the distribution or the collection and the plant operations. Do I hear a motion on this one?
I'll move it.
Okay, hold on. Just let me get back to my tally sheet here. Okay, Mr. Perkins, do I hear a second?
Okay.
Mr. Anderson. All in favor? Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right.
Raphael,
Aye.
John?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, 5-0.
And it will also just be helpful, just from my knowledge, when we go back to the ones that you wouldn't move, what additional information do you need from me in order for you to move those articles?
I think it's just updated data. That's it.
Well, because the wastewater went up $500,000 for debt, but we voted that, but we wouldn't vote the other ones. So I just want to make sure that, whatever I give you, it's enough information that you'll.
Move forward.
move forward, because the debt went up 500,000 here, because just so you know, we're paying off, starting to pay off the first 50 million.
Cable. This is just sort of the money coming in from
It's the cable budget.
cable budget, right? So this one hasn't changed because there's no debt in it. Your motion on cable television.
I'll move it.
Mr. Perkins, I need a second.
I'll second.
Nate,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. We're going to skip over number 8. Number 9 is actually, did I get to the, no, warrant article 9 is Cape Cod Tech.
Yep. We didn't put numbers in it.
Okay, so as soon as we do that, yeah, so whatever, when they put those in, we'll be ready to go. Golf Capital, again, this is the same numbers that we saw before. Do I hear a motion on Golf Capital?
I'll move it.
Mr. Anderson, Mr. Perkins, Nate,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and I am as I as well. Carries 5-0. Water Division Capital, again, this is just a lift from what we already saw. There's a question here about the balance, or it needs to be updated or be accurately reflected, I guess.
That is the balance.
Yeah, okay. So it's not, I guess, sort of the only question from last night's conversation.
One that was different.
It's the only one where it wasn't out to 4 decimal points. Yeah.
So if you wanna go.
It's not important. I mean, it's the,
Yeah, it's that 3-5.
That is what's in the water special revenue reserve. 3059030.
okay. Spelled out, of course. Anyway, so that one I think is also good to go unless people have any other questions. Again, sort of this is just the writing and the explanation, so I'm not worried about that. Motion to approve the capital expenditures for the Water Division.
So moved.
Mr. Anderson,
I'll second.
Raphael, Nate,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Police cruiser financing, our annual police cruiser financing.
So I have a question on this one,
Sure.
because I've brought this up every year. Not per se to police cruisers, but cars in general, is are we getting the return on electric vehicles? And what really irritated me was the comment the chief made about those cruisers. So I guess my question is for this is, do we know what type of cruisers these will be?
I think he had stated, now, I can ask him the question, you don't need to vote on this tonight, so we can clarify. But he stated that they're going back to gas vehicles. Didn't he say that?
He
He
did,
did, but
So,
because in other years, it's specifically called out
yeah.
right.
whether the cars or trucks, whatever, were electric or not.
And I think that this is one where it's best to be moved on the.
Yes.
Because the select board at one time said all new vehicles will be electric
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago.
You know, reality bites.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm just saying is that rule still
So I would love a
Yep, no worries, we'll get the answer for you.
clarification on that,
yeah,
one way or the other.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll skip on that and move to fire department, which is much more fun.
And I think that should be all town vehicles. Because we are buying police type cruisers to be used in other departments.
This is sort of the fire department's guys, which again is partially funded by our ambulance receipts. Is there a motion to move forward with these?
I'll move it.
Mr. Nate. Second,
I'll second.
Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right,
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well, 5-0. Capital expenses, various departments, that is going to be skipped. Library construction is going to be skipped.
Okay, when we do, and I just want clarification, so I'm prepared. So when we do the capital of the various departments, is there anything you need from me? Or just gonna go back through it another time and go through it line item by line item?
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
idea.
Okay,
I mean, yeah.
yep, no worries.
Yeah. Well, and also, there were a couple of select board questions, and I want to make sure that we don't have any issues
Okay,
with the select board. So I
You
figured
can-
it'd be easier to vote on this next week after the select board has weighed
can
in.
you just mention what the select board questions are? Just, you know what they are?
I'd have to review
Okay,
the
no
tape.
problem.
They were small things.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things. I remember it and like, I'm not ready to move forward on that.
Okay.
Wastewater facilities, National Grid easement. So, Raphael, you're entitled to weigh in on this one. So this is the easements that are required to provide the natural gas lines for the wastewater plant. So unless there's other questions, would entertain a motion to move forward with this one.
I'll move it.
so I do have a question.
Okay.
So this is just to start the process?
No, it's so that they can dig a ditch and put their pipes across our property apparently.
Is there an expense to the town?
No,
No, it's
Permission.
just it's just permission. So Raphael's very familiar with permissions. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Nate beat you to the punch. Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right,
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well. Septic tank equalization rehab. This is the incremental money to complete the rehab for the second type. The budget or the actual expense came in higher than what we had approved at previous town meetings. And so this is the balance that would be required to complete that project that makes sure that we make lots of money going forward.
this is debt?
yes.
So it's,
So the original debt authorization was 4.4 million. And they went out and they wanted to, when we originally appropriated the 4.4, the cost estimate they had, that would have taken care of the 2 tanks. And so when they went out to bid, the bid came in higher. And so they only did 1 tank. The bid for 1 tank was like over 3 million. So this is supplementing the second tank. So right now they're actually rehabbing the first equalization tank. We'll get the supplemental appropriation and then they'll do the second tank next January. And it's all debt paid by the septage revenues.
do I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Second,
Second.
John Anderson. All in favor, Nate,
Aye.
All right,
Perkins, Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well. Sewer phase 1 collection system.
So right now, originally back in 2021, there was an amount of money borrowed for the design of the wastewater treatment plant. I think it was over $3 million. It was decided at that time to use some of the ARPA funding for design. So they didn't spend the money that they borrowed. So that's been sitting there. And we're actually using that for the engineering of Bayberry Hills because it is within the collection system. But there's an amount in there that we need to transfer because the article is written as the wastewater treatment plant design. And so we need to move 400,000 from that balance over to the collection system. And that is to pay for a bill for Robert B. Hour that they had for the collection system and any incidental costs that might come up related to the collection system. If that makes any sense. Because the original article was for the wastewater treatment plant, which isn't the collection system.
So is this a warrant because it's coming from another?
project.
Yeah, we're just moving money from one project to the next. So we're moving money from the wastewater treatment plant to the collection system.
A little bit like a budget transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like a
just
budget
because
transfer.
it's a warrant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Second? Mr. Perkins, thank you. Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right,
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well, 5-0. Bayberry Hills Engineering Discharge.
This is for the engineering of the discharge for the wastewater treatment plant over to Bayberry Hills. We need to appropriate 1.5 million to finish the design. The project timeline is the engineering would be finished in a year. Next year, you'll see us come in for construction over for the discharge at Bayberry Hills. And that might be in the amount of like 35 million. You had seen that as part of the capital facility plan.
Now, the only question is, we move the 400,000 from the other one, does that reduce the amount of this request? I thought it
No,
was.
we've already reduced it.
Okay, so that's,
Yeah.
the explanation really didn't,
This isn't transferring, we're actually appropriating from the
Appropriate.
wastewater stabilization fund.
yeah. I'm just saying, but it sort of,
It would have been higher if we didn't have that other
and
balance.
that's the 3 million? The 3 point,
We had 2 million left in that fund. So we're using 400,000 for the collection system, and then the rest 1.5 million for the Bayberry Hills design, because the article is written that we could use it for Bayberry Hills design. And then we need an additional 1.5 from the wastewater stabilization account to finish the.
so what's that
design.
leave us in the wastewater stabilization account?
Well, we're using 1.5 million we're using 3 million right now, and I think we might have 12 in there, so we'll leave us 9.
anybody ready to move this one?
I'll move it, without which the whole project shuts down. We need to
Yeah, I
have
mean, this-
the ability to discharge.
Yeah.
Turn
Everything
hands
falls
on.
apart. Everything falls apart if you can't get rid of it. That's a good point, George. And the fact that it is potentially, I mean, the early hydro analysis would say that it's a prime site. I mean, we are so. Do you recall when we previously were talking about doing the discharge at the Bass River course? And literally it would shut the course down, incredible cost of revenues, loss of revenues. And this one is under the parking lot and driving range.
Second,
Mr. Anderson. So let's take a roll call on this one. Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right,
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm I as well. Collective bargaining wage adjustments.
This is a standard article that we have every year for our collective bargaining.
It's basically the ability so that the town can.
Yeah, for any open contracts we're negotiating, we always appropriate a certain amount of money every year to assist us in that.
Without committing to it.
Yeah,
It's not in the budget.
right. And then what we do is the next year we roll it into the budget once the contract's been settled.
Right.
But it gives us, we don't want to put it in the budget because we don't know what we're settling. So we have to put some amount of money aside for settlements without saying, because they're in the middle of negotiating.
So this is a ballpark. This is a budgetary number.
Yeah.
Right.
we
And
tipped our hand in negotiation about how much we actually have.
Well, we're being very vague about it.
I'm being facetious.
Well, I was going to say, the other guys put it in their budget at a much bigger number. Do I hear a motion to move this article?
I'll move it.
Second.
Nate,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well. Okay. Oh, our favorite topic.
Mm,
By the way, it's sort of interesting with 2020 hindsight. This actually potentially could be part of a bigger school reengineering question. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So it turns out it may have been a good thing not to demo it quite when we did. It's going to give us some flexibility for the no build option. So this is just to make sure that it doesn't turn into a mold factory. Any questions about this one? Hearing none. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Mr. Anderson.
I'll
Second.
second.
Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right.
Raphael,
Aye.
Ron,
I,
I'm an aye as well. Transfer and sale of surplus property. Blah, 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 blah.
There are no funds appropriated with this.
So do we even do?
I don't think the finance committee usually votes on
Yeah.
things like this, but
No.
can if you want.
No, I think we're just, anything that we don't have to, we
And
don't.
it's just standard that they put in
Yeah.
select board finance.
Yeah, okay. Appropriation of tourism revenue funds, TRPF. If you may recall in previous years, this is this is required by statute to, whatever you call it.
Special legislation.
Special legislation, that we do this every year. This is simply an administrative requirement for us. The actual spending is part of and I think I noted it in the draft of the letter that I was sending out to the public. So these funds are under the approval authority or the recommendation authority of the CEDC. So the Community Economic Development Committee is the recommender and the select board are the approvers. This is simply to put the money in the buckets.
does it matter? We don't have a CEDC?
So what they did this year.
Yeah, I know the select board did it this year.
They just did it. So it is being reconstituted. In fact, some prior finance committee seniors are potentially going to be on this. But it still needs to do our housekeeping here. So this is a housekeeping thing. Do I hear a motion to recommend? I need one. Come
I'll
on.
move it. I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay, Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right.
Raphael,
Aye. Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well. Seasonal communities designation, I suspect that this one is going to be a scratch based on the comments from the select board last night. So now it's the Community Preservation Act. It's the same thing as we have done for the Tourism Revenue Preservation Fund. This basically puts the dollars into buckets. Is there any question about this one? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Mr. Nate? A second?
second.
Don Anderson. All in favor, Nate, George,
All right.
Raphael,
Aye.
John,
I,
I'm an aye as well. Okay, these are the actual, so the revenue that comes in is required to be put into 4 different buckets: affordable housing, recreation, open space, and historic preservation. So these are the recommended breakdowns. And most of these are sort of repeat performers.
These are the projects that the Community Preservation Committee has approved.
Right.
The explanations are in, tells you what the actual projects are under the explanation.
Now, if you haven't read these before, I would be very understanding why you would think we might want to do these next week, but if you are comfortable that this process is working well, we can do it now. I'll sort of assume that if somebody makes a motion, we would move this one. Okay, so you don't want to just have a chance to review it, and we'll pick it up next week. Okay. Next one.
Same thing.
Same thing, but this is simply,
Go back up to the other one for a second.
yep,
There's supposedly Project B, there's $1 million laying around. Project B, appropriate funds, or is there? No,
Yeah, Yarmouth, it's from,
it's the second one up, B.
this one here.
Yeah, no, but look at the B. The
Yeah.
B,
yeah, I don't know, you have
Does
to
this say there is old money laying around?
again, so the CBC, it works a little bit like
well, you have to ask the Community Preservation Committee about what that article is.
right,
It wasn't part of, I've been to the Community Preservation Committee, this wasn't part of a discussion that I had with them. So I don't know what article they are talking about, but I will get
In
clarification.
other words, I'm asking. If
I understand.
If there's buy down money that they haven't used because damn properties are too expensive,
yeah,
is it just laying around?
Well, basically what they've been doing, usually what you do is you take community preservation funds and you transfer it into the Affordable Housing Trust.
Yeah.
So if there was money laying around, as you say, but
Yeah.
lack of a better term,
Yeah,
it would be in the Affordable Housing Trust.
yeah,
So I'll get clarification on this article.
thank you.
My issue with these are it's all or nothing. It's the same thing with the CEDC one. Is that why aren't they broken up
Meaning,
into like what if I agree with Project B but not C and D?
right, it's.
Is that just standard practice for these funds or?
So under the act, it's really the Community Preservation Committee. I mean, when you think about it, under the act, you could say, I don't like this, it's still gonna go to town meeting. It only goes to town meeting on a vote of the Community Preservation Committee. That's what it is like under the act. And so they've decided to put it this way. You don't need to put it in one article. You could do separate articles, but the committee has decided they want to do the articles as, you know, we're gonna do all affordable housing. If there's 3 affordable housing projects, we'll put it under one article. If there's several historical projects, we'll
Yeah.
put it under one article.
I don't disagree with
Yeah,
the items. I disagree with the procedure of these.
so, considering also that we have worked our way through, I think that these would be potentially ones that are worth revisiting next week. Is everybody so comfortable with just, because we've literally covered most of the stuff already.
yeah. And let me just say one more thing, because I've seen it done so many different ways. But when you have a lot of projects too, you know, a lot of times people don't want to go through 15 articles at town meeting, right? Or 10 articles at town
Mhm.
meeting. The thought has always been, if somebody didn't like a project, you could always amend the article and take it out. I'm just telling you what my experience is in other communities. But the committee does feel that breaking up the articles, like one for historical, one for affordable housing, one for open space, makes it,
A little bit more efficient use of town meeting time.
well, not even efficient of town meeting time, but we're breaking it up under the purposes.
Yeah,
So it's easier to talk about. So now we're going to talk about all historical projects. Now we're going to talk about all affordable housing
I get it.
projects. Just so you know what the thought of the committee is.
so, I think we've maybe a little bit run out of gas at this point. So our homework is to go through these, and we'll approve those next week,
And then there's the one zoning article, which.
we don't have to
Okay.
do.
Oh, just to see if you wanna, I just want a clarification for the lease of the, they are for gas vehicles. They're having too many problems right now with the hybrids. So that lease is for gas vehicles.
Do we want to revisit Article 12 then?
I'm fine revisiting it. I would like that clarification written in for the final draft.
Okay,
Well, I'll make a recommendation to the town administration on that. Cause they're the ones that write the explanations.
Well, and the reason is because I hear what you're saying. You just got confirmation, Jennifer, that they're for internal combustion engines? Because
Yes.
there was some discussion as to whether these are going to be IC vehicles, hybrid vehicles, or some mix of the two, at least in my memory. I could be mistaken. But both hybrid vehicles and 100% electric vehicles are very problematic. At the risk of getting on a soapbox here, hybrid vehicles, there's only one or two manufacturers that make them reliably, okay, and that are still producing them and producing a steady flow of spare parts and service support. Okay, so the hybrid vehicles are problematic. 100% electric vehicles are a dog's breakfast. Okay, so completely stay away from those because manufacturers have curtailed their manufacturing, curtailed their development, and curtailed all support of what they were producing years ago. Okay, so that's the reason I'd like to get that confirmation that these are true IC, internal combustion engine, ICE engines, and that we're not jacking around with hybrids or 100% electric vehicles.
Or not, you have confirmation. I've
Thank you.
texted the
Okay.
chief, and these are the leases are for gas vehicles.
Perfect. Thank you.
so Article 12. Do I hear a motion to approve Article 12?
I'll move it.
Second,
Second.
Nate,
Aye.
George,
All right,
Raphael.
Aye.
John?
I,
I'm an aye as well. Thank you for getting that.
You trying to,
fast, Jennifer.
Nice.
Well, so part of this is we are under the gun in so many ways right now. We lost a week of valuable time.
and mind you, I wasn't supposed to be here next week because I was supposed to be in Florida.
And she's
But
now,
I'm not going to Florida because I'd rather be here with you all.
Sorry, but I'm not gonna be here.
that's all right.
I'm going to Aruba.
Oh, stop. Okay, so so next week, the 11th, I want to make sure that we're going to have a quorum. Is everybody else available on the 11th? Because the 11th will be the basically trying to wrap up the warrant articles. And anything else that's
We want to wrap up the budget next week,
right,
right?
that'll be all the warrants.
I'll get more information or whatever for warrant articles. The one that's gonna take some time is going to be the library. So if we don't have a number by next Wednesday, you'll have to put it off and do it the Wednesday before because the select board is gonna execute the warrant on the 24th, so you can't meet on the 25th. You have to do it before the select board.
The 18th. So that's sort of the next crunch is. Now, I'm hoping that the numbers are going to be coming available, and assuming that they are, the library building committee would be here with Amy to talk about what they have. So that would be another part. So, and it'll be on the draft agenda. So I don't know if because it's got to be on the draft agenda just as a topic. And if they're not ready, then we'll do it on the 18th. Okay.
And we'll have school board numbers Monday, right? Is Monday the day?
Yeah, they
for them?
vote Monday.
They're
the ninth.
supposed to, but so there's a lot, there's still some moving parts. So
How did that meeting go?
excellent.
Good, did?
Yep.
Good.
They'll be part of the public hearing on Tuesday.
Oh.
Dennis Yarmouth,
Right.
just so you know, and they're supposed to vote their budget Monday night.
Right, they're supposed to vote their budget Monday night, and we'll sort of just take it from there. But I don't expect, so I'm assuming once Jennifer loads the numbers in for the Cape Cod Tech, that will be done. And we'll be in reasonably good shape.
The, just an FYI, the Mattakees, public meeting obviously was canceled last week and is next Wednesday as well, so.
Okay. Any other, just a quick, before she left on some time off, Maria did send out the revenue trending report and expense trending reports. This is sort of a, my sense, and Jennifer, can chime in here. Surprisingly good news on many fronts. So,
Yeah, we're doing well on the estimated receipts. There's some timing issues, but there's no red flags and we're ahead in some areas, behind in others, but
lots of good numbers. Obviously, the other big question, there was a question about at last night's select board meeting about providing the residents with free brush removal, no tipping fees. Again, I don't know how much money we've spent in the past on that, but that potentially is another expense item that's going to show up if we move forward with that. And I'm assuming that they're going to, so.
They did that when we had the tornado.
Right, so they thought that it would be appropriate to do
Yeah.
that again. It's a very limited window, it's like 1 week. So that is another thing that came out of last night's meeting.
It's needed.
Needed? I can't believe some of the trees that came down.
Holy moly.
Yeah, holy moly is right.
I get some friends are getting new cars.
I think that's it. There's probably something I'm missing, but given this is one of our longer meetings, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Nate,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
CL,
All right.
John?
All right.
I am an aye as well. Meeting is adjourned at
thank you all.
7.
Thank
Have a
you.
good- See you next week.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.